you need as a Draven player, of course. Once you get the first BF sword on your first back, you just start going full on aggression. It's what we saw in the bot lane. So I won't be surprised to see a few bans towards the NIP bot lane here. I don't think banning Ahri is the solution because there's more assassins for Nukdog to just pick up.
Well, the bans are underway. We do see LeBlanc being taken out by Departed. Don't want to let that assassin through. And Italy is going to get countered by ninjas in Pyjamas. So going for those mid laners early on.
Yeah, same bans again. Nukdog, he loves to play LeBlanc, and of course Nick, he loves Nidalee here, and there's nothing more annoying than play against Nidalee if you actually fall behind, the sieging potential. And now we actually do see the flash ban here against Miffy, so don't want to deal with him on his support, and it's definitely his favorite support.
As you say, that Thresh ban, Annie ban countered it. So it's like, you ban a mid laner, we'll ban a mid laner. You ban a support, fine, we'll target one of those as well. Evelyn taken away from Hulberto, and the final ban, will it be towards Kiki's Lee Sin maybe? Because that was really a very good starter for Departed.
Yeah, Lee Sin or Kha'Zix, so maybe even Lulu, making sure that Nick cannot pick Lulu up here and be very strong in the laning phase. So, hey, banned it away.
Yeah, managed to go for that Lulu early on. Morgana will get first picked for Departed here. Go Perm really wants that support champion.
So with obviously Annie being banned away, Thresh being banned away, I think they hope Miffy's gonna pick Leona here, and they believe teamfight wise they're gonna have the counter in Morgana. But there's supports like Zona, there's supports like Karma, who does really well against Morgana, so there's a lot of choices here for Miffy to actually pick up. And first picking your support, especially when it's Morgana, which is more a counter pick, can be a little bit risky, but let's see what NIP actually decides to respond with. Getting these two picks, we had Zoro and Shyvana in the last game, and of course Alberto and Kha'Zix. Very, very strong late game already here for NIP.
Yeah, they've already gone straight back to those champions that worked for them before. We'll see whether they get locked in. They will, and that is going to be Shyvana and Kha'Zix, as you mentioned. And well, Zoro Zero, he seems to be able to farm for days up in that top lane, especially on Shyvana.
Yeah, but it's the style he likes to play, and of course he loves these bruisers. The meta for him is really good for him because he can just stay farm, try and win 1 versus 1, force them out and just split push, and then join in with the team if needed. I'm actually very happy though to see this Lee Sin again, because Kikis did so well on it early on. He applied so much pressure onto NIP, and he needs to do the same again, because going late game against Kha'Zix and Shyvana, very, very scary.
Well, Babunia is going to get Mundo through this time around. Worked out well for him throughout the qualifiers. And I'm never convinced by a Mundo versus Shyvana matchup. It's not one that I feel he's going to win in a straight up 1v1.
No, Dr. Mundo is going to lose it early on. Shyvana is going to have all the pressure, and then coming into the late game, of course, Dr. Mundo going to go full tank. Very hard to kill, but Shyvana is going to have to split push pressure all the time. He's going to go Bladed Rune King most likely and just beat out Dr. Mundo, and he's forced to actually stay back and farm. And then with teleport, yes, he can join in with the team here, but so far from the first few picks, we see the same ones here for NIP. They like what they did last game, and there's actually no reason to change anything because they won.
Well, Karma going to be possibly the selection for Mithy, along with Lucian. Despite the fact Draven was available, they're going to take that Lucian away, and Lucian, the #1 pick in the LCS, continues to be a highly contested pick in the Challenge Series.
Yeah, so Karma, Lucian as a lane, it's very hard to deal with. So much poke, good mobility. You have to dash on Lucian, of course. You have to speed up from Karma here, and also the slow from Karma. So very hard lane to gank, and very hard lane to actually be against, because they can always poke you from distance. So we need to see how Departed want to handle this one. They could potentially go for a 2v1, move Dr. Mundo down, then they won't have this 1v1 against Shyvana as well. So it could be a solution for Departed. Swap it around, get 2v1 against Shyvana, try and deny some farm from Source Zero, and don't risk going against this Karma Lucian.
So this is something we actually do see a lot from Challenger Series teams, and honestly teams that do break their way in towards the LCS, is they always have fairly limited champion pools, and I'm seeing Departed here sticking with very much the same game plan they had in game 1.
Well, the Ziggs pick actually worked fairly well for them. He did well in the laning phase. He just couldn't follow Nukdog when it came to the roaming part, so I don't think it's actually an issue for them picking it up. It's more the Morgana pick I'm looking at. I'm saying, why do you first pick your support here when there are more options? Of course, Kha'Zix would have been a great option for them to first pick here. That's the difference for me, but we can't really judge champion pools yet just from these 2 games, and they have actually played quite a lot of different champions through the Challenger Series.
Well, there is the Z lock-in for Nukdog on that assassin. He terrified people on that champion last year on Lemon Dogs, along with Bjergsen, and they were the 2 main Z players here in Europe. Of course, Bjergsen's gone and terrified anyone in North America right now, and Nukdog's going to see if he can do it here in Europe once again.
So the difference between the NIP combo this time is there's more physical damage, so it's going to be easier for Departed to just stack armor, especially Dr. Mundo can go and stack a lot of armor. It's going to be very hard to take him down. The only magical, of course, is Miffy and then some of the damage from Zoro Zero. So if you take this lineup though for NIP, it's going to be the same. We have Zed in one lane, you have Shyvana in the other lane, and you have Freeze now with Miffy, who can actually wave clear and push turrets in the mid lane. So it's a more well-rounded split push combo. Departed side, they want to have Dr. Mundo holding a lane with teleport, of course. You want to have Zex in the mid lane, always wave clearing. Who's going to go to the last lane? I'm not too sure, because nobody should actually be able to 1v1 either Shyvana or Zed coming into the late game.
Well, I feel, of course, with that Sivir as well, they're going to be looking to group, trying to get those big team fights this time around. Departed. They didn't manage to get them last time around because simply they was taken away from them by the power of Nukeduck. When Nukeduck with that Zed against the Sivir, maybe with the Dark Shield, maybe going to try and counter anything that goes towards him. But you're going to have to be so quick, and I feel that Nukeduck's just going to pop it. We saw it earlier on with Froggen.
Zed is going to explode you.
Yeah.
Simple as that. If Nukeduck gets a good start, gets the Blitterone King, gets his Brutalizer, and finds Sivir, you're dead. That's it. Or at least he's going to force the Summoner away from him, force the Barrier and the Flash. And that's the whole issue with this combo. Unless the Departed manage to actually win the early game, and they can control the map, and then they can start sieging with, of course, Sivir, with, of course, their Ziggs, and just forcing NIP to have multiple members to try and defend and just poking them away. If NIP engages onto them, pop the ultimate from Sivir, disengage, or if NIP drops low, pop it to actually engage onto them. So Departed, they really have to win this early game so they can control the map. Once the split pushing starts from NIP side, it's going to be very hard for them to respond.
Well, it worked for them last time. They got that early lead. They went a little bit too deep, though, and it gave that triple kill to Nukeduck. Let's hope they don't do it this time around, because DPD, also known as Departed, are going aggressive once again in towards the top Tri-Bush this time around.
So they're doing the same level 1 here with Morgana, of course, just on the opposite side of the map. Zoro Zero, he's going to move out of this bush, so he's going to have vision to see what's going on. He's already spotting them here, so he knows something is going to happen.
Yeah, got there very quickly, and a little bit too quick for Departed. They have got a ward down, which they purchased. It was Midi that came up here, so they have full vision of Departed right now.
Yes, Miffy decided to actually go into the utility tree, so he's having this ward and also some potions for the laning phase. Full vision of Departed. They're not expecting any wards down here because, of course, trinket wards is at 2 minutes. So they're just waiting around NIP with full vision. You already see Freeze down here moving towards the red buff of Departed.
And then these are the traits I've seen from Polish teams in the past. Meteor Makers, also known as Mouse Sports now in the Challenger scene, used to do exactly the same. Their level 1 fights were always very strong, and it seems Departed, along with the rest of the teams, have tried to take this. Rockout were doing that, but actually have stopped doing it since they've been in the LCS.
It's one of the things you can always do with Morgana support, because land a binding, land the Sonic Wave from Lee Sin, you have full vision of what's going on, you can just go in and get this kill. So I like the fact they're actually trying it, but NIP just countered it really fast. Zoro Zero moved out of the bush, spotted them, and then they warded down here from Miffy. So full vision from NIP side, and they're going to see them actually also moving in towards this red buff.
Will they try and contest this? Instead, they're just going to poke it. Oh, very good inner flame poke there straight away. All 4 members of Departed going, don't want to walk straight in towards that one. Pyjamas, of course, had full vision. They're also going to try and steal away that red buff. Alberto will be starting this one off. We are going to see Babunia is going to pass on by. He will get vision if he comes around. He is going the right direction. Alberto is going to smite this one away before he comes in there, though. Babunia may try and get some damage down on towards him instead. He was just strolling past, wasn't even looking. He was looking at the bottom lane.
Well, again, if you already click down to the bottom lane, you're not actually thinking something might happen, but good binding onto Miffy here.
Miffy taking a big burst of damage there, and Warlock followed it up. That's a good trade straight away for Departed again in this top lane. This is how it started for them last time around. But Ninjas in Pyjamas, they counted so well.
But like we talked about in Champ Select, Departed actually wanted to lane swap, wanted to get Mundo down the bottom lane in the 1v2, but due to the ward up here, NIP, they knew everything that was about to happen. They saw Mundo already leave the group, so that's why they just swapped up there, got the lanes they wanted, so Zoro Zero should be able to get a lot of farm down here in the bottom lane. And up in the top lane, the very good binding onto Miffy, actually giving the advantage to Departed early on, but this lane with Karma and Lucian is very, very strong.
Good counter there from Kikis, went straight across through that Baron pit, warded across, safeguarded in and stole the red buff away, while of course we saw Alberto was taking away the red and the Wraith, or white, whatever you like to call it, down that bottom lane. So, we didn't even get to talk about too much about the fact that they have both lane switched in towards his top lane. We saw Departed with that great dark binding start. Of course, they did hit that pressure level 2 early on, and they are keeping that pressure down this time around, but I feel Perm, he has to start landing those dark bindings more often.
Well, again, just the first binding he landed actually gave the whole advantage to them, but now Miffy poking back, Freeze coming in here, and with the very nice shield here from Miffy. Look how much he's actually absorbing already. Combine that with your barrier, it's going to be very hard to kill this Lucian. And NIP just got to try and come back in his lane, but good job by the Partida so far, actually having all the pressure.
And I want to talk about the pressure that I can remember the name, Karma can put down on you. Because if you think back to the Gambit Super Hot Crew game, Mixer on Karma actually did more damage than any other member in Gambit, which is a crazy stat.
You saw the damage at level 1 from Miffy when he landed the Q onto 4 members. Karma has such a high base damage, and also we see people actually building Magic Pen boots, for instance. We have Leandra's Torment on them so they get this ability power to be able to provide some good damage in the team fights, and that's one of the reasons Karma is also so strong at the moment.
Well, Nukeduck's keeping his farm going, and it's keeping Nick really very passive in this game. He doesn't want to get too close to Nukeduck, and of course he has that range poke. He is got that passive. Kick is looking to maybe try and create something, and before, of course, on Ari, very maneuverable champion. This time around, Nukeduck on Zed, still another very maneuverable champion. It's a hard time for Kikis to try and land those ganks.
Yeah, but it's the style Nukeduck likes to play, all these assassins. We even see LeBlanc being banned away, but Nick doing a good job so far, keeping up in farm here. He's having the barrier. He has the barrier, sorry. So in case there will be a fight, he will be able to pop it from the ultimate from Nuke. But down here in the bot lane, Roberto without the red buff going in for the gank.
Coming in towards it. It's actually just timed out when he was coming in towards that. Waited out a little bit long. Now Kick is going to try and transfer this one into something for Departed. He will go aggressive on Zoro. Not too sure that was the target he wanted, but it's going to maybe give a little bit of an advantage in lane to Babunia. Yeah,
good damage onto Zoro here, forcing him to actually use the health potion now. So helping out Babunia get some farm, and he's actually winning the lane. So Departed, just like last game, they're doing so well early on in the laning phase. Top lane wise, or of course the dual lanes in the top lane. Fantastic job by Woolite up here, getting far ahead early.
Both those mid laners getting close to 6, and of course if Nukeduck spots Nick a little bit too close, he may well quickly turn that aggression back around on towards him. Has got that ignite ready and waiting to use, and of course barrier for Nick means it could be an explosive trade in that mid lane. Meanwhile in this top lane, it is all the pressure coming out from Departed on towards that turret, starting to work it down here.
Yeah, again, Departed are doing such a good job in this 2v2, and they're having all the pressure, getting some good damage onto this turret. If they can keep it going, they will be able to take it down at some point. But Woolite is very low on mana here. Same goes actually for Perm, so not having too much to trade with. Miffy at 50% just used some of his mana here, but his poke didn't actually do too much.
Poke in the mid lane is maybe going to happen. Actually, Nick very low on mana. They have just hit level 6, but Nukeduck keeping a very good job, and Nick is playing so passive. He's going to throw out that Mega Inferno bomb so he can back away, forcing the wave pressure onto Nukeduck, who's just going to farm it up.
It means Nukeduck can now push it all the way down, and with the wave coming here, no, Nick is actually in a good position to come back before too many minions will die to his turret. So good use of his ultimate here will of course mean in case we have a fight in one of the side lanes, he won't be able to throw the ultimate up.
Alberto looking to come around the backside of both Perm and Woolite, and may well do it. Actually put the ward down but didn't go for it. There was no vision whatsoever from Departed. I think it was purely their movement that actually may have given them away. Instead Kikis will get spotted out by their ward, so Mithy and Freeze know they've got pressure coming from the jungler. Instead he's also going to step away. Yeah, but there was no red buff for Alberto, and of course with Black Shield it's very hard for Mithy to actually lock someone down, so he simply didn't want to go for the gank. At the moment he is keeping that pressure down. They know that they're in a straight trade, and that was a good burst from Freeze onto Woolite there. He's starting to get some good farm going, but it is still Woolite with the advantage in lane. We do see a pink ward being placed from Departed once again. Didn't quite see the minute marker there. I think it was around about 7 minutes. It maybe just went down there. We'll see how long it lasts this time around. Yeah, NIP should really know from last time there should be a ping ward here early on, and they have to go in and check. I believe this Kick is actually planning it once again, so it's the start he likes. Go back, get a few early wards so he can help the team out with vision. And yeah, this ping ward is so important. As long as it stays up here, they're going to see everything with NIP moving around in this area. Nick does get himself the blue buff. A little late to go over and pick that one up, by the way, I might note. Kick is taking a lot of damage from that blue buff. Not too sure he'd be too pleased with this one. Nukeduck, he might fancy going aggressive here. See if he can try and get that blue buff back, but of course with that barrier it's going to take a lot for Nick to go down. Blue buff itself Is he going to get traded, or will Hulberto take this one for himself? No, we are going to see Nuke come across and take that one away.
And Nuke might actually be fine just farming away in this lane simply due to the barrier on the Zig, so he doesn't want to go aggressive. He doesn't think he can get the kill. Good binding again.
That's going to land, and it forces the barrier out here. Kick is fancying this one, lands the Sonic Wave, but doesn't go aggressive, doesn't have that ultimate available just yet, but Freeze, it's going to be a bit of a warning sign for him.
Look here, Zoro, just like last game, moving in toward the red buff. They want to get it early here, but Kick he's around the NIP one, so he can actually go in and get it. That's why we see Nuke moving up here, making sure that if Kick is on the red buff, he can then kill him.
Alberto well out of position now. Nuke can actually go north, so he was looking towards, maybe going towards that red buff, which will be spawning.
Yeah, he was going up to stop
just
Kick because, of course, his team took the red buff down here.
Yeah, but of course it does put Alberto in a dangerous position. Just recalled, though, in time in those butchers, and Kikis will get himself that red buff.
Yeah, so just a little bit too early here for NIP, actually. I don't actually believe they cleared the small camps when they took it early on, and that's why now they didn't have the time on it.
They are going to take it away. Meanwhile, bombs bouncing on through from Nick. Does lay out those mines, and this is actually starting to cause a problem for Nuke.
Well, this is what Ziggs can do with this blue buff, just constantly spamming away, and as long as he's having this barrier up, he should be able to survive the burst from Nuke, and that's why we see Nuke just farming away. He wants to get, of course, the Blade Rune King so he can really start split pushing. He's already having the brutalizer here early on, so he will have a lot of damage in case he catches out a target.
Well, those top lanes are technically duo lanes, but nevertheless they are returning to lane and have both got themselves BF swords. Longsword also picked up by Freeze here. Deep wards being placed by Perm. Dark Binding is available, and again, just quite catching on towards Freeze this time around. He did have his shield up though, so it wouldn't have landed, would simply give mana back actually to Freeze.
And laning wise again, you just see Sivir shoving out the wave every single time. Morgana is just waiting with the black shield in case something should happen here, so it simply means the CS lead, they will be able to keep it because they're taking so little poke, and every time they land a binding, Boomerang Blade from Sivir, and they get a lot of damage onto NIP's side. And we see it once again here.
Oh, a good Sonic Wave once again, as not Sonic Wave over here.
Boomerang Blade.
Boomerang Blade, that's the word I'm after.
Sonic Wave.
Freeze, Sonic Wave. Maybe he's just going to start throwing kicks out, who knows. But Perm does put that black shield down just as Mithy tries to land that stun. Or the slow, I should say. But again, Woolite quite happily keeping that farm pressure going on Freeze here.
The thing is just shoving the wave out every single time and forcing NIP then to have the wave going back. But this time around, NIP actually getting the edge.
We may see aggression, and it is going to be on the Babunia. Will the first blood go across to NIP? I think it will do. And it's Zoro that finally picks it. It was a two-man dive. It took them 10 minutes to make it, but it worked in the end.
And with the Ignite, they completely destroyed the ultimate from Dr. Mundo here. So just the fact he actually got low beforehand, easy kill for them. No ultimate use from Zoro. However, Hoberzo did use his. But it's the first blood, and now they can get some pressure on here. Kikis is the only guy to defend. He's only level 6.
Yeah, he doesn't have that teleport available. Kikis has got to be careful. I don't think he realized the Dragon Descent hadn't been used. That was a good tower hit on Zoro. Mega Inferno Bomb is not going to land though. And it's another kill for this duo pairing in the bot lane.
And as soon as NIP saw there was only level 6 onto Lee Sin with the level 8 onto Hoberto, they just said, you know what, you're squishy, we can just kill you instantly. And of course, as we said, ultimate wasn't used on the first kill for Zoro. Popped it, easy kill.
Nuke passing by that pink ward that was placed in that top lane area, Riverbush, and well, they are going to back away from this one. Nick, realizing he's walking into a certain death there, doesn't want to go too close to Nuke.
But look, pink ward still alive. They spot Nuke moving up here, so everyone from the party can just react to it. Back off here in the top lane, of course, Nick can move out and try and get a bouncing bomb onto Nuke.
Yeah, absolutely. Babunia hasn't got that teleport. He's just gone back towards that bottom lane. Spirit Visage was picked up by him, and now he's realized kind of needs some armor here because he's up against the Blade of the Rune King. Finally, this time Nuke goes aggressive on Nick. There's the ultimate going in. It's going to catch him on towards the turret. Barrier was used just about in time. It was very early barrier.
Yeah, I actually think Nuke just wanted to force out the barrier here. He knew he wouldn't have the damage to actually kill him. Of course, he should have quite a lot of gold with 110 CS and only brutalize on a longsword. So once he backs off, he should be able to pick up the Cutlass, of course. And yeah, Nuke forcing out the barrier here, so next time the ultimate is ready, he might try and go aggressive.
Well, NIP get themselves a pink ward of their own down on this Dragon. Kick is taking a peek towards it. 1,800, just shy of 1,900 gold actually. NIP starting off the Dragon. Alberto actually going to go for this one. And trying to maybe pounce on an opportunity that the rest of his team don't feel is there.
And Kikis, he didn't actually have any vision due to the pink ward here, so he's moving around to check and make sure nothing happening. And Nick, he needs to be careful here. No barrier, getting poked down quite a lot by Nuke. Roberto is nearby, he can join in for something.
There's Flash Ignite on Nuke Duck as well. Flash is available for Nick, and that's why he's being forced away from this one. They did get a ward down and clear out that pink ward down in the Dragon Pit area, but NIP will be taking the first turret. That's a very good culling, catching a lot of damage on Woolite. He was not expecting so much, and even had the barrier, didn't even use it. Meanwhile, down the bottom, Kick is taken low. He's on that tower. There's no minions though, but that wave is coming close. He's going to have to back very quickly and may get interrupted by NIP.
So up in the top lane here, NIP actually got the edge in the lane, so they got the turret down even though the pressure had been onto them through the entire laning phase. And then with the calling here, despite having 2 summoners ready on Sivir, actually dies to it. So turret, kill, and now NIP starting this dragon.
As a former pro player, can you explain why you wouldn't use barrier in that situation?
Well, if you want to save your summoner, if you think, oh, the last calling is not going to kill me, it's not going to hit me, you just want to make sure, or you think to yourself, I'm not going to die, so I'm not going to waste the summoner. Normally, however, you want to play it safe and use the barrier even earlier on, actually, when the calling starts hitting you.
Because that's not the first time we've seen it. Of course, you remember Reckless, of course, with the whole landing on him. Big burst damage coming in there. Blue buff for Nuke Duck. Nuke Duck himself has got that bilge water cutlass building up towards that blade of the Rune King. Starts to become a serious threat for Nick.
But the thing, when you play in this level, you want to maximize everything you do. So if you can actually save your summoner, because you're just going to survive like 10 HP or 15 HP, it's going to be worth it for you. And that's why you just hold on to it for so long. And I really don't expect, or I don't think he actually expected the very last calling to hit him.
Yeah, it was catching every last little touch on towards him, and of course slowed by that inner flame. It worked very well from Kick is getting that red buff. He's going to see if he can try and create some pressure. Didn't have that early pressure like he did in game 1, and NIP at the moment with those 3-kill advantage and a big gold advantage I might add are starting to stack pressure on towards those turrets. Woolite again trying to go aggressive, but the inner flame from Mithy is spot on.
With this Bladed Rune King onto Zora 0, 2 kills of course. He's very, very strong. He's very up and more. Now Nuke Duck.
Well, Nuke Duck going to get killed from this one. That's almost certainly the pop. I don't think he needed to flash for that. He was going to die, I feel. Maybe Nuke Duck just securing it, making sure it happens.
So simply due to the fact there was no barrier, he used it the last time he went on to him. His ultimate was ready, and now Roberto onto Perm down here.
Freeze is with him as well, but they're not going to go too aggressive. Woolite, you see that boomerang flashing past, but Woolite taking another big chunk of damage. This time, didn't use barrier again, but Flash was certainly burnt this time around, and Freeze really got his number now. And
every single lane for Depart is getting pressured a lot. The only lane actually keeping even in CS is still in this dual lane, but they gave up a kill and of course lost the turret. And look at this, already so low here. NIP just keeping up the pressure down the bottom lane. It's just a matter of time before the turret will go down. It's very low already, and of course, with the Blade Rune King onto Shyvana, Dr. Mundo has nothing to do against you.
And this all, of course, despite the fact Woolite had that farm pressure. Mega Inferno Bomb that's going to clear out the wave. Dart Binding good on towards Mithy there. The tower hits are going on towards him. Still not enough follow-up. The tower hits not quite enough. If only Perm had something else to do.
Well, there was also Flash on Mithy. Could have used it to escape here, but very nice binding coming in, getting some good damage, forcing him to back off now, giving some time at least for the departed bot lane to get some farm, because NIP should be at least be backing off. Lucian though, staying around Alberto as well.
Alberto using that smite, making sure he gets the jungle stolen away from Kikis. Oh, Boomerang Blade flashing out from Woolite there, feeling a little bit more confident now. He's got those hit points on him, and forcing Freeze to back away. Continues to stack out that Bloodthirster.
And now we have the Blade Rune King completed onto Nuke Duck, so just a matter of time before he's going to go towards the top lane, have switching with Freeze, sending him mid lane, then he can stay there and constantly push it down, and then both side lanes are going to be split pushed by NIP.
Nuke Duck just waiting in the wings there. He's got a ward actually spotting out Nick's position. Woolite up against Freeze in his top lane, and Freeze just sidestepping, making sure he doesn't get caught out by anything. The pressure very much being applied by Ninjas in Pyjamas. Just this mid-outer turret remaining, and Nick has got to be careful he doesn't get Nuke Duck around the back of him.
He's having barrier though, he has barrier ready, so he will be able to at least try and survive the burst from Nuke Duck. He's just pushing it down now. Zoro Zero catching out Kikis.
Kikis is not going to have enough damage. He can't focus on towards Zoro Zero, and Zoro Zero keeping pressure all across the map now. He's going to have Alberto with him, and they're moving towards that bottom lane to keep the pressure on there. Babooni is starting to struggle to keep him away from the turrets.
Every single lane just getting pressure down. Look down here in the bottom, of course, Zoro having full pressure. Alberto just running around in the jungle of the party, trying to find someone they can actually kill. Nick could be the target or Kikis.
No, Kikis, every time he goes in towards that jungle, he manages to take a face full of something. This time around, it was Void Spikes coming out from Holberto. Woolite doing what he can to keep him away. Oh, Kikis caught out. Zoro finally gets himself a kill.
3 times in a row, Kikis want to try and check a bush, and then someone is waiting for an IP.
Yeah, and well, Zoro is just on a mission right now. 3-0, as you mentioned. Play the Rune King. Once it was completed, he goes looking for kills.
Yep.
Nuke Duck putting poke on towards Nick, trying to force the flash out of him. Didn't get it this time around. May still get some more poke through the bushes there. Oh, will do. Interrupt it.
Scumbag. It was the thing we talked about in Champs, like Departed, they needed to win the early game, otherwise NRP would just be able to push down every single lane again and again. We had Shyvana against Dr. Mundo, of course, Blade Rune King, and there's nothing Dr. Mundo can do. Mid lane wise, Nuke Dog with it, also the Blade Rune King, so strong in the 1v1s, and Karma Lucian lane, constant pushing, very good at escaping ganks. So Departed, due to the fact they didn't manage to pick up any kills early on, they did well on farm, it just wasn't enough.
Well, Nuke Dog's going to get aggressed upon by Babunia with that ultimate running, but simply not enough damage, I feel there. Flash was forced, though, from Mithy. Didn't want to get caught out between a rock and a very hard place in the form of Mundo.
So this means if NRP decides to continue pushing now, no flash on to Mithy, could be the target for him. If Kikis can actually get onto him and kick him back towards his own team, they will be able, or should at least be able to pick up a kill.
Danger for Departed. Woolite hits level 11. He means he evolves his wings now, and he's ready to pounce on someone from those bushes. And honestly, Departed, their jungle has been very much invaded. They'll be lucky if they can get this blue buff taken away there. That's nice. Secure there. Ninjas and Pyjamas, they were all over this area a moment ago. Seem to have missed out on that timer.
Yeah, so we get the blue buff onto 6, more time for him to just defend, and that's why the mid lane is going to be harder for NRP to push because he's going to be sitting in there, but they shouldn't even care because they should be able to kill them in the side lanes instead.
Well, it is going to be the blue buff once again for Nuke Duck, but Zoro, he's commanding and going where he pleases. It's ordinarily Mundo's job, but you can see it's a solid 2,000 gold differential between these two champions in this lane. And Babunia, he's going to have that ultimate available every time he wants to try and do anything. Oh, Woolite caught out of position here. The culling coming out, and he's catching every single bit of Woolite once again here. This time around, he has got that barrier available and may well require it. Freeze gets the dash on towards him. One more shot should do it, but quick defensive work from Nick will stop him.
Here you see him actually saving the barrier, and he didn't die, so he's going to have it for next time. He could still have used it on the culling, but decided, you know, I'm not going to die from this, I feel safe. So he backs off, both summoners still up for Woolite.
But while that was all happening, it drew attention to the whole of the Departed team. We do see a Dark Binding land on a Holberto, but what I was trying to refer to was the fact that Zoro was just pushing. Do what he wants. Wow! Burst damage from Kikis doing exactly what they needed on Mithy. The first kill finally comes in for Departed, but now Perm's in trouble. Zoro feels like taking on 4 members of Departed, and now Nuke Dog goes aggressive, straight on towards Nick. The barrier is going to be enough. Is it going to be? No, the Ignite's running. Good Mega Inferno, great binding coming out there, and well, Nuke Dog goes down.
So Departed here picking up 2 kills. Dragon is also alive. There are 5 members here. They should be able to get it. Zoro without any ultimate. He needs to back off here. Beautiful play by Departed. First, punishing Mithy for actually face checking onto Kikis without any flash. Instant dies. And then we saw Nuke Dog going very aggressive onto Nick. And we talked about this barrier. It's going to make him survive the burst. And then the beautiful binding from Perp simply made him just turn around, get a kill, get the dragon, and also pushing onto this mid lane now.
Touch of overconfident play coming out from Ninjas in Pyjamas there, but Departed are going to be careful. Last time they got overconfident, they gave Nuke Duck a triple kill. This time around, they do get that mid outer turret, and it's the first one of the game for Departed.
So perfect for them. Freeze was not even in the fight. He was up in the top lane here, so they just took full advantage of the fact that NRP made a big mistake and overcommitted. Look at this replay here. Miffy face checking in. He knew Kikis was nearby. He spotted him before, and he just walked straight in there. I'm not sure what's actually going on. And then you die.
Feeling a
Can
little
you clear this pink ward?
They're actually sweeping it this time. Hey, they found it. And again, it lasts to the 22-minute mark.
Yeah.
It's a solid another, 15 minutes for that ward, so it's been well worth it once again for Departed.
Let's see now, though. Zoro actually moving down towards you because Zoro is chasing onto Babunia, or Woolite, sorry, in bot lane.
Oh, Woolite's in trouble. He's going down. Zoro gets himself the 4th kill of the game, and of course, with those boots of swiftness, it's very hard to escape from a very speedy Shyvana at the best of time. Ultimate being popped by Babunia. Now Dark Shield will not land. Sorry, the Dark Binding will not land this time around, and Freeze using that culling once again to great success, putting damage down on Perm.
So ultimate down from Dr. Mundo and flash down from Perm. Freeze don't let you use his dash to escape it, so NIP can continue the pressure up here. And we actually see now DPD moving Dr. Mundo up here to try and defend the turret. And Nukdog now, Kick is doing a very good job on towards him.
Not too sure. Nukdog was like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Kikis? I don't quite think you've got the damage, but with Nick in there, he certainly will do, and that forces Nukdog to back away from this one.
Zero. Soul Zero is constantly moving up here. He can always push out this bot lane, and Perm might actually face check him. Oh, very wise.
Puts a ward down. That's going to get cleared out though. And Zora Zero, he really is dominating that jungle right now. I wouldn't want to go in there, that's for sure. We talked about scary players last week in the LCS. He's definitely one you wouldn't want to face.
And we actually see a Ghost Blade onto to Nukdog here. Normally you were going for Last Whisper, but there's so little armor onto Departed side. It's not worth it. That's why he's gone for the Ghost Blade.
Kick is going aggressive on Holberto, realizing actually I'm up against a pretty tanky Kha'Zix there this time around, and Holberto using those void spikes to just keep him at bay. The rest of NIP, 3 members pushing the top wave. Meanwhile, Zora Zero is continuing to solo the bottom.
And I think actually they should just move Nukdog up in this top lane here and then move Freeze and Miffy into this mid lane so they can at least try and get the turret down, because Nick has been doing a very good job defending it. It's gonna be low, so he will go down as soon as NIP decides to rotate around, but at least he's holding it for now.
Well, that bottom turret's going to go down this time around. I feel Zora Zero putting a lot of pressure on towards it. Don't think it's going to last much longer. Babooni is going to come down here, but simply going to find himself open to a wave of minions, and Zora Zero continues really to pressure everything against Departed. They've got no answer to him right now.
There's absolutely nothing you can do with Dr. Mundo, and it's going to be the same thing going longer into the game. Dr. Mundo will be very tanky, yes, but he won't be able to kill Zora Zero or apply any pressure onto him.
And he just keeps poking him, keeps pushing the lane, keeps prodding him. Meanwhile, the mid lane, Nick going aggressive, and this time around, he uses that Mega Inferno Bomb. The tower hit comes in, but the barrier, it was used too early, and Nukdog's ultimate went off.
So Nukdog actually finally got the kill here, but Kick is straight in there to defend it, so the turret won't go down. We see, however, 3 members from NIP moving down towards his mid lane. It is definitely the target, 25 seconds on 6, so he won't be able to defend it.
Well, Zora Zero steps away, realizes Kikis is coming towards him. Still might not be able to 2v1, but I feel he may even be able to escape here. Nevertheless, blue buff for Woolite. I'm not too sure why he's going to take that away from Nick, but nevertheless, he feels like he needs it nevertheless. Anyway, who cares? NIP, they take themselves the mid turret. Now it's 4-1 in terms of turrets.
Let's see if Nick actually decides to go into Sonya's with this large rod he's having. He has a lot of mana regen, but he's not going to have any defensive stats at the moment. That's why Nukdog can kill him so easily. So we need to see if he wants to get the Sonya's as his next item. Of course, it's going to delay his death cap, which is a key item on the Ziggs, but still, at least it's going to mean he can survive the team fights.
Oh, red buff taken away by Zora Zero, goes aggressive on Kikis. There is a lot of damage being done. Kikis has to use that ultimate, simply kicks him back towards the minions. Zora Zero continues farming.
Zora Zero is so annoying. Honestly, he's just staying down his bot and pushing up, then he walks into your jungle. Every time you try to move around, he's in your face. And now NIP, no wards for the party in this area here, so they have no idea this Baron is being started. Meanwhile, the 3 members of NIP are just showing somewhere else, putting pressure somewhere else, so 2 members can actually take this Baron.
This will be a Baron for free to NIP. Their simple positioning and pressure they've been putting all across the map will go across them. The other 2 members, 4 ninjas in pajamas, will come up and help out, and that's going to get secured. Zora Zero finally making his way up here, running defensive duties. I think Departed have suddenly realized what is happening. They certainly will do. There's the Mega Inferno Bomb. It's actually going to interrupt the ultimate, the recall of Holberto, but nevertheless, it's a Baron for Nip this time around, and it's much quicker than before.
So they should be able to get a timer, at least a decent enough time on this Baron, so they know when the next one is spawning. But yeah, NIP, the Baron they used so much time on getting in the last game, get it now very easily for him. So Nukdog is finally moved up into this top lane. He want to find someone like Sivir. It's a perfect target for him to kill.
We'll see whether he pounces across towards him. Of course, it's a free blue buff if he manages to find it. Nick feeling the taste of the culling there with the Trinity Force and Bloodthirster completed. It does a good 50% of the health of Nick.
Yeah, with all this attack damage on the Freeze already, he's doing so much damage with everything. Also, his passive combo he can do with the 2 hits with the Sheen proc. A lot of upfront damage onto this Lucian.
Well, they've backed away in that top lane, which has actually given a fair bit of free time. And then meanwhile, in the mid lane, we see Freeze pulling a lot of damage where the hell he pleases on this turret. You can see in the jungle, actually, Kikis and Babunia were drawn towards, I believe, that dragon. We are waiting to see across that red buff. Finally going to try and come across towards it. Hulberto ready. Doesn't even get the smite. Hulberto just jumps away. Takes the dragon as well.
So they were waiting around trying to steal the way, and nobody can deal with Nuke up here, so they decided just to back off. Meanwhile in the mid lane, a lot of pressure for NIP, and this turret is very, very low.
Uh-oh, DPD is going to get aggressive upon Nuke going into the base right now. Does get the kill. Uses the living shadow to get away. The rest of DPD also travel across. They do manage to get towards Nuke. They may get the kill. It's a good kick for Kikis, but he's going to turn around and try and take down Perm. And the rest of Ninjas in Pyjamas, though, they're pushing on the inhib.
It is getting to damage onto this turret here, down to almost 50%. They got the other turret down, so instead of responding, a kill for kill, or 1 for 1, but the turret in NIP's favor.
Departed have to deal with Zoro Zero. He just says, you know what? I'm going to go and take my own turret, and the rest of Departed, they rotate around. It gives free moments for Ninjas and Pyjamas in the mid lane. They take that turret down to half hit points. They are going where they please up against the Mundo.
Well, NIP is just doing everything correct here. Split pushing every single lane, applying pressure, not waiting around, just using this Baron buff, getting so much damage onto these turrets. And you see them, they don't even care about the minion wave, they just want to get some hits down, because as soon as these turrets are gone, there's nothing left for Departed.
Well, the thing is, Hulberto is actually, he's got a Randian Zone, and he is probably one of the tankiest members outside of Zoro Zero on that team, and he could tank it a couple of times, but instead they choose not to hang on in there, despite the fact they've got that Baron buff regen. They're going to push all 3 waves in just once again like they were in the previous game, and they have honestly full control of this matchup. You can see it's a 10,000, well 11,000 gold advantage, 6-1 in turrets, and Departed, again, they struggle to make anything count, and it's all lost from that lane phase once again.
And we do actually have the def cap on Ziggs, and I have to say I disagree with it. We saw in the last fight against Nuke, it doesn't matter how much AP you're having. If you don't have anything to defend with, you're just gonna die against the Z. So I would have liked to see him pick up the Zonius, but Zoro Zero just jumping away, only down to 80%.
3 members focusing him there, and he's just like, nah, it's fine. I'm going to bring 4 towards him, actually. This is actually buying time for Nuke in that top lane, who could honestly solo on towards Warlight, so Warlight's going to be very careful.
NIP needs to be careful though, they're not getting too overconfident, because Zoro Zero was pushing despite 3 members being back in base, so that's why they didn't have any pressure elsewhere. Nuke was coming down with the minion wave, so NIP needs to be careful. It could be the way back into the game for Departed if they can catch out these members when they're over-aggressive.
Yeah, Nuke all in his own, drawing the attention. It's almost like a bit of a solo queue play from Ninjas and Pyjamas here. They're just doing anything they like, not really working as a team, or though individually I guess they all are, because it's a 1-3-1 split push that's working very well. Last time around it took them a while to try and get on towards those turrets, but they are putting damage down. This is almost certainly going to be the focus in the mid lane. Yeah,
Nuke just picked up the blue buff, he's going to return down to the lane, push it down. Zoro Zero of course doing the same thing here in the bot lane. If someone moves down to defend, they can just rotate into the mid lane, get a few hits onto the turret, and then NIP can just proceed to do it just like we saw in the last game.
They're leaving Nuke open in this top lane. He's got a wave of minions in on towards that inhibitor turret. Warlight's taking the culling in the back. Nuke's doing work on towards that turret. They finally rotate around, but they're already down to half hit points. You can see this is leaving exposed damage. Meanwhile in the mid turret, that turret's going to go down. You can see Mithy putting pressure on there. Freeze is putting damage down on towards it. Ninjas in Pyjamas are just keeping Departed so busy. They all need to visit the fountain, but they just can't hang on long enough.
Nobody can stand up to Nuke here. Whoever they send up there, he will die or be forced back to base, so that's why Nuke can get so much damage for free. And Perm actually going on to Freeze, flashing away.
Forces the flash because Freeze had just dashed, but the inhibitor is going down, and now they're going to finally fight on towards him. 2 members focus towards Nuke. He does have the support of Hulberto just off at the side, and that middle inhibitor turret, well, he just needs a couple of hits while down the bottom. Zoro Zero, he continues to cause problems for Babunia, who can't keep him away.
But we actually saw Departed do the only thing they could do, try and start a fight. We had the flash ultimate from Perm. It's not the ideal one because they couldn't land the binding, but at least they tried something, and now NIP going aggressive.
The moment the dark binding missed, they just jumped straight on towards it, tried to make it count. They do go aggressive, but Zoro Zero finally joins the fight. There's one inhibitor going down. Nuke can now look towards going aggressive. They're just taking the objectives this time around instead of focusing the kills. That will be the second inhibitor going down. Warlight so low here. He's going to get the end of fame on him, and Nuke's almost certainly going going to pounce on that one. Instead, he has to flash and use that on the hunt to get away, and they're just keeping the pressure on.
Nukdog still having ultimate here, so if someone comes close to him, he can jump on him, get the kill. Roberto getting the wave here. So Zero actually being caught by a binding.
Zoro tanking up the entire departed team and trying to walk away from this one. Has already used that Dragon Descent. There's going to be Nukdog going in, gets down on towards Perm, gets onto Wallite. That's going to pop him another. It's a double kill. Zero going really aggressive on this one on Babunia. Instead, takes about 3 tower hits. The rest of NIP come around. Minions in the bottom inhibitor turret. They're going to take themselves the third and final inhibitor turret. They are going to have to back away after this one unless they departed make a horrendous error, which they're not going to do. Surely NIP have to step away.
NIP is very low at the moment. They got all 3 inhibitors down. Nukdog actually deciding to base right in the middle of the base of Departed here. So a bit risky, of course. He cancels the recall. So NIP backing off now, but all inhibitors are gone. It means they can just come down now next time after this shop and force everything onto the Nexus turret from Departed and try and finish the game. And Kikis, he tried to get a kill on here to Miffy, but he dodged out of the Sonic Wave.
A much stronger performance for Ninjas in Pyjamas in this, I feel, second and final game. Of course, a 2-0 would give them victory here in these Challenger Series finals. It is the second Challenger Series, and if you remember, cast your mind back, they lost 2-0 to Cloud9 Eclipse before in the previous season. But it was 2-0, wasn't it? I'm not losing my marbles here. Yeah. I do recall the first game being incredibly long. It was around about a 70-minute matchup. Baron has respawned, and Ninjas in Pyjamas, well, they may as well come and take this one. Departed not even going to be able to fight for it.
Departed just need to stay in the base and just farm up all the waves coming in and just try and extend the game as much as they can. It's of course very hard with so many super minions and all the members from NIP coming in, so Departed really needs a miracle here. They have to try it, of course. They need to get all the farm here. If they can win one team fight, they can extend the game a little bit, pick up some more farm from all the super minions coming in, and then get some key items.
Well, Departed, as you mentioned, need that miracle. I'm not too sure what sort of form it's going to come in. A Dark Binding landing on Nukdog and going full-on aggression maybe is it. They're going to lock him up. No, he gets away, and they're actually split on whether they want to go for that one instead. They're going to jump on Wallite. He gets taken down. The culling is enough. Dark Binding on 0-0 has 0 effect. Instead, Kikis, he's going to go away. The ultimate from Nukdog, he's dead. Kikis is going to get popped here, and the rest of Ninjas in Pyjamas turn their focus onto those Nexus turrets, and the final Nexus will fall. It's going to be Ninjas in Pyjamas that come out victorious here against Departed. An easy victory overall, and it will be 2-0. That will top them in the standings as well. They will go in towards the playoffs as #1 pick in that round robin 6-man, 6-team playoff. I'm not sure what the actual name for it is.
I do know, however, it's a very dominant